Hi, I'm Rachel Manuel, co-founder of the Left Hand Plan, which is a teaching aid for parents at home and teachers in schools to help left-handed kids visualize from a left-handed perspective how to form the letters, numbers, and anything else they're going to learn in kindergarten. Today we're going to be talking about lowercase letters and how lefties form them and how it's a little bit different than how right-handed kids form them. So we're going to start with the lowercase letter A. And start the way I write them is from the top, kind of a leaf shape, kind of disformed circle, and then do the tail. Now do that one more time just to make sure your kid can catch how I'm forming the letter. Now the tail in this case is facing the right, not the left. It is facing away from the circle. So the next letter is the lowercase letter B, which is one that kids struggle with because of the way that the circle faces the right and not the left. It can be a little confusing. So start with the line. There's a couple ways you can do it. Me, I start from the bottom and just form kind of the half circle shape and connect it about where the middle is. And in this case, the circle is facing the right, it's not facing the left. So I'll draw it one more time. And then I'll show you another way. Is a line and then just go to the middle and connect it at the bottom. It's easier for me to do it the first way, but some kids this speaks better to them, so I'll do it one more time just in case this is your child's preference about how to write it. So we'll start. Now the next letter is the letter C. It's pretty simple to the way the right-handed kids write it, just because it's a very simple form. You start at the top and then just form the curve down to the bottom. Start at the top. Now there is another way to write it. I don't normally write it this way, but as long as they're getting the shape, it's okay as long as they know what the shape is supposed to be and they form the correct shape. If they do it a little bit differently, it's okay. The other way is start from the bottom and then form the curve up to the top. Do that one more time. Start from the bottom. Now moving on to the lowercase letter D, it's very similar to the letter B, it's just the way the curve faces is different and that can be a little bit confusing. So while the curve in the letter B faces the right, the curve in the letter D faces the left. So you start with the line just like the B, then your curve goes towards the left and connects again about towards the middle. Do that again. And just like B, there's another way to write it. We start with the line and start in the middle and curve to the left, connect at the bottom. Right. Now the next letter is the letter E. Again, it's very similar, it's just the way the letter faces can be confusing for a left-handed kid when they're watching someone right-handed try to teach them it. So you start the line in the middle, then curve, go through the line and continue curving to where it's aligned with the top of the curve. Let's do that one more time. Another way to write the letter E is to start from the bottom, curve, and then do the line in the middle. As long as they're getting the same form, it's okay if they do it a little bit differently. Next letter is the letter F. It's a very simple form, but again, the way the curve at the top faces can be a little confusing. So from a left-handed perspective, start, curve on this end, form the line, and then there's a line in the middle. And in this case, the curve will hook at the top, facing the right instead of facing the left. Another way to form the letter F is just to start with the line in the middle, and then curve and place the line. The next letter is a lowercase letter G. It's pretty simple. You just start with a circle at the top, make sure it's connected, and then do a hook at the bottom facing the left. In this case, the entire letter is facing left. And the entire letter is facing the left. If your child seems to learn better starting letters towards the bottom, you can start with the hook and just form the circle and connect it. It looks a little bit different, but as long as they're getting the basic shape, they don't have to have it exactly as I've drawn it. Everyone draws letters a little bit differently. As long as they're getting the basic form, it's okay. So now we're moving on to the letter H. So you start with the line. And the way I do it is move about halfway up the line, following the line, and then form a little house shape facing the right. And I'll repeat that. And if your child seems to learn better starting letters from the bottom, you can start with the house shape and then do a straight line up. Do it that way one more time. Twice the length up. The next letter is the letter I. It's a very simple form. It's just a lot of kids will forget the little dot at the top, which can make it confusing as to whether it's an I or an L. So for eyes, it's easiest to start with the little dot at the top, and then it's just a straight line. Now, a lot of kids will start with the line and then add the dot in later, and that's okay as long as they remember that there is a dot at the top of a lowercase I. One more time. Now the next letter, J, is going to be pretty easy to remember because it's very similar to the letter I. You start with the dot at the top, and then it's like you're forming an I, but there is a hook that faces the left at the bottom. I'll repeat that again. And then the hook faces the left. And if your child prefers to dot their I's and J's afterwards, you can just add the dot at the top as long as they remember that a lowercase j does have a dot at the top, and it also has a hook that faces the left. So the next letter is the letter K. There's a couple ways to write it. For me, the way I write it is start with a line and then add the triangle shape facing the left onto the right side. So I'll repeat that. And then finish the triangle shape. Right. And the other way to write it is if you start with the triangle and add the line. As long as they're getting the same form and recognize that this form is a K, it's okay if they do a little bit differently. And add the line. next letter is the letter L. This one should be pretty easy. It's just a straight line. So it doesn't matter if they do it but if your kid prefers to do it from the bottom up, it's a fairly simple shape. The next letter is the letter M. And the easiest way to remember letter M is it's kind of like two camel humps. So you have a line, and you have one hump, and then the other one. Next letter is the letter N, which once your child learns the letter M, it's pretty easy to transition to the letter N because it's same line and just one hump. So I'll repeat that one. You don't have to start the line from the top, you can start it from the bottom, but you still need to get the basic shape. And also a difference between an N, something that can be confusing is when children make the little part at the top right here where it's just an N and this little tail here. They can make it too long and then it turns into an H, so you've got to remember that it's a short tail at the top. Again, it's a very short tail, it doesn't go up very much. Now the next letter is the letter O, which is basically just a circle. So you can start at the top, go to the right, finish the circle. Or you can go to the left and finish the circle that way. Whatever is more natural for your child to learn, it doesn't really matter as long as you're getting the same shape. Okay, finish the circle. The next letter is the letter P. And building upon O, there's a couple ways. You could do kind of a circle shape and then add a line. Add the line that goes towards the bottom. Another way to write it is to have a line, just start at the top, and connect about halfway through. Remember the line in this case is facing down, it's not going up. Connected about halfway and the line is facing down. Now the next letter is Q, which can be a little bit confusing because it's very similar to the letter P, but the curve is different. So, the easiest way for me to write it is to start with the little circular shape, connect at the top, and form the line down and curve it at the bottom. So the circular shape faces left and the curve at the bottom faces right. Again, you can start with the line, curve bottom, and just form the circular shape. The next letter is the lowercase letter r. It's very similar to the letter N, but the child has to remember that the curve here only extends about a fourth of the way out. It doesn't go all the way down, it just extends out and then stops. So repeat that. And if their letter doesn't have much of a tail here, that's okay. Everyone has their own writing style, but as long as they remember there's a line and a tail that extends about a fourth of the way out. That's the basic form of a lowercase r. So the next letter is the letter S. You start to the right, curve to the left, curve back to the right, curve to the left again, and stop. Repeat that. Child prefers to start their letters at the bottom, you can curve to the right, curve back to the left, curve back to the right, and stop. The next letter in the alphabet is the lowercase letter T. So for T, it's very similar to an F, but there's no curve in it. It's just a straight line and a straight line across. Repeat that. And there's no curves in the T. And again, if they want to start the line from the top up, and then add the line. As long as they're getting the correct form, it's okay if the process they take to get there is a little bit different. Now the next letter is the letter U. It's a pretty simple form. You start to the left, curve down, curve up to the right, horizontal to where you started at the left, and then add the tail. I'll redraw that. And if you want to start with the curve and then add the larger curve here. As long as they're getting the same shape, it's all right if they want to do it backwards. But the easiest way for me, again, is to start at the left, move to the right, and add the little tail, the curved tail at the end. The next letter is the letter V. Now, the letter V and the letter U can get kind of confusing because they're extremely similar, but the difference is that there isn't a curve in the V. So what I mean is that while the U is curved at the bottom, the V is a straight line down, the straight line up their diagonal. So they're diagonal lines. I'll redraw one more time. There's no curve here, it's a point. If your child prefers to start at this end, then draw it the same way, but when you're writing in a sentence, it's easier to start from the left and move to the right. Now the next form is a W. And the easiest way to remember a W for your kid is to connect two U's together. So you'll do one shape of a U and then connect another one. And then you have a W. So again, the easiest way for me to remember it is to just connect two U's. And there's your W. Now also W's can be drawn again with two U's, and then they can have a tail at the end. But that tail at the end can be kind of confusing. Now the next letter is the letter X. It's a pretty simple letter. Just like your kid is playing tic-tac-toe. They've probably seen that before. It's a pretty easy form to recognize. You just do a diagonal line from the left to the right, and then a diagonal line from the right back to the left, and then connect in the middle. Again, to help your kid remember this shape of X, have them think of tic-tac-toe. And if they start with from the right to the left and then the left to the right, as long as they're getting the form, it's pretty simple to write the X in either fashion. And the next letter is the letter Y. It's very similar to the letter U, but it has a tail towards the bottom. So you have the U shape, then you move down, and you keep going down and form a tail that also faces the left. Another way to write it is to start with the line and then add the curve in. Right? The last letter in the alphabet is Z. Now, the way to do this is start at the left, go straight across to the right, diagonal down, back to the left, and straight across to the right again. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Left Hand Plan, and we really hope that this visual learning from a left-hand perspective can help you understand how to teach your child to write and help your child visualize the way that they need to learn to write. Tune in next time where we cover uppercase alphabet.